Hello, everyone, and today I just wanted to talk about the possibility that some people have been throwing around of a Super Mario Galaxy 3 potentially being on the horizon. Now, what is the cause for all of this discussion of a Super Mario Galaxy 3? Well, first off, Super Mario Galaxy 3 is something a lot of fans have wanted. You know, it's up there with like Sonic Adventure 3. Everyone wants the Sonic Adventure 3, and a lot of people want the Super Mario Galaxy 3. So Super Mario Galaxy 3 has always been something that's just been talked about, you know, by many different people. They've always wanted it. It's the big Mario game that they would like to see again. And recently that discussion has ramped up once again, and people have been talking about wanting a Super Mario Galaxy 3. So what is the reason for that? Well, first off is Nintendo, during the 40th Mario anniversary special, just announced a bunch of stuff, all of it pertaining to Mario Galaxy. So, of course, the first thing they did was the Mario Galaxy Collection, which is Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 were coming to both Switch and Switch 2, which is a good idea. It's a really good idea because now pretty much every 3D Mario is on the Switch. 64 and Sunshine. 64 is on Nintendo Switch Online. Sunshine is on Nintendo Switch 2 Online. Then you have Galaxy 1 and 2 are now on Switch and Switch 2. Then after that, you have 3D World is on Switch as well because it got ported, and then Bowser's Fury's there with it. Then Odyssey was a Switch exclusive, was like a Switch game. So like every 3D Mario is pretty much on Switch. I mean, unless you want to count 3D Land, which yes, it is a 3D game. That's still stuck on the 3DS, so maybe they can port that over. Eventually, maybe they can do a 3D bundle, you know, a Mario 3D Land plus 3D World bundle, and they can port 3D Land over. They could do that too. But yeah, pretty much all like the mainline like Mario 3D games are now on Switch, and that's a good thing. I think it's a very good thing. It's a lot more accessible for people as well because they don't have to keep going back and like, oh, I want to play Mario Galaxy 2, you know, and say like that's their favorite game. They have to put out their Wii. I mean, they probably don't. Probably just use an emulator. But you know what I mean, right? If they want to use it legally, you put out the Wii. But now that's not the case anymore. You can use your Switch 2. And I'm all for that. I'm all for re-releasing old games. The problem with it, I think, from what I've seen, is the price. Nintendo is just full price, $70. Right? Like, come on, guys. Now, unlike other things, I kind of get it because it is 2 games for the price of 1. So in that aspect, I understand it a bit more, right? I can kind of get it a bit more, right? As if it's like a $70, $80 game, like if it's an $80 game, you're just technically paying for 2 $40 games. So I kind of understand that, but Nintendo has the habit of re-releasing stuff and then just putting it for full price as a full game, which is not the right thing to do. You shouldn't do that. I mean, Metroid Prime Remastered isn't a full price game. It's like $50, which, you know, should be the norm of where video games are, but it's not. You know, and then they put out like Luigi's Mansion 2. Was it Luigi's Mansion 2 or was it the Luigi's Mansion remake? They put that out and it's like full price $70. It's like, what are you doing, guys? Well, what are we doing? Like, don't do that. If it's a re-release, a remaster, it should definitely be cheaper than a full price game. So the price, I think, is the big problem a lot of people have with this, just because it's Nintendo and they just don't care anymore, right? I mean, hell, Mario World is like almost $100, so I mean, like, you know, there's that. I'm not liking where the video game pricing is going, but you know, on the whole, on paper, having Galaxy and Galaxy 2 on Switch is great. I mean, Galaxy was already on the Switch if you bought Mario 3D All-Stars, which I couldn't because, you know, Nintendo had it on sale for like a cup of coffee, and then they're like, yeah, it's gone now. Great, thanks guys. You know, now people can't play Sunshine. That was like the only way you could have played Sunshine on the Switch for years, was if you had 3D All-Stars. Good luck, because you can't even download it off the store. They took it off the store as well. Why would you do that? That's the dumbest move I've ever seen you do, and you've made some doozies. But I digress. Having Galaxy, which has already been on the Switch, it's got a full, like, actual release, and Galaxy 2 finally coming for the first time is a really good idea. Now, People have used this because normally when companies re-release games, it's because they're hyping up for something with the game, right? Like the big thing was Sonic Generations was rumored for a while to get a remaster, and Sega did do that, and by doing the Sonic Generation remaster, they put in a new game, which was Shadow Generation. So they took the Generations name and the whole idea of Generations, and they made a new game out of it, right? So a lot of people are thinking, oh, well, if they're doing this for Galaxy, maybe Galaxy 3. So they're having it so that way people who've never played the Galaxy games before can get familiar with them while they put out Galaxy 3. That's a thing. Rosalina got a storybook. So the Rosalina storybook is getting a full physical release. Why did you not do this earlier? This seems like a no-brainer that you should have done a long time ago. I'm glad it's happening now. I want it. I absolutely want it. I love a lot of the physical stuff Nintendo does. Like I love the Mario Encyclopedia they do. What was it, the History of Hyrule, where they actually have the Zelda timeline in it? I love stuff like that, and this just fits right in that with me. I love when you go into lore of something and then make a physical thing of it, right? Like the Gravity Falls Journal, that got a physical release and you can read it. I love stuff like that. So having a Rosalina storybook is really cool, and I want to pick it up. I'm so for this. Now, along with the Rosalina storybook, they announced that in the Galaxy Collection, there was going to be new pages to the Rosalina storybook added, which are not in the physical edition. But these new pages is Mario Galaxy 1 gets an epilogue, and then Mario Galaxy 2 gets their own storybook, which they never had before. So the Galaxy 1 epilogue, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, means Jack Diddley Squat. It's pretty pointless. I mean, it's nice to have new pages, but if they weren't there, nothing would have happened. Let's be honest. The big one was the Galaxy 2 pages, which I won't go into so much, but it does kind of tease that maybe something is on the horizon. It is said in the Galaxy 2 stuff, like, you know, they could kind of tease a bit that, oh, maybe we could go off and do something else, right? Like, so there is again that, like, oh, they kind of tease at the end of the Galaxy 2 storybook that maybe something can happen, you know? And then we got Amiibo for Galaxy, which, I mean, it's not much, it's just Amiibo, but, I mean, Amiibo are Amiibo, right? Nintendo put out Amiibo when they think that they can make money off something, so that's what they did. So we got a Mario and Luma, and then Rosalina and Luma Amiibos. And then, of course, the big one is the sequel to the Super Mario Brothers movie is called the Super Mario Galaxy movie. I am a bit shocked they're doing Galaxy so quick, you know? I would have thought, especially with Yoshi coming into play, it would have been like adapting like Super Mario World in a way, or like I think the big thing a lot of people thought was maybe Wario was going to be the bad guy of the second movie. In which case you would maybe do an adaptation of World mixed with Super Mario Land, right? Maybe we can introduce Daisy in this movie or something, and Wario's the big bad. Could have done something like that, but they're going right for Galaxy. And, I mean, Galaxy is one of the biggest Mario games out there. It's by many considered to be the best Mario game, and some consider it the best video game of all time. So doing a movie off of it, with its brand recognition, makes complete and total sense. I completely understand. But I'm just kind of like, wow, we're jumping right to Galaxy, huh? Like, I would have thought this would have been like the third movie, right? But we're going right to space, you know? We're already going right to space. Okay, you know, I'm not against it. I'm just kind of like, oh, already we're doing this? Okay. And of course, because this is the Super Mario Galaxy movie, a lot of people are like, oh, is Galaxy 3 coming? Because now all this stuff is tying together. We now have the Galaxy Collection coming out, so that way people can get ready for the movie, right? We have all this stuff surrounding Galaxy coming out. Is Nintendo preparing for a Super Mario Galaxy 3? Now, they could be. And I want to point to Sega and what they do. They did last year for 2024, which was the Year of Shadow, which was all in service of brand synergy. Shadow was going to be in Sonic Movie 3 at the end of the year. So they spent that whole year all about Shadow getting people ready for him appearing in the movie, and that way people are more familiar with him. So that's why we had the Shadow Generations get made in the first place. That's why it was branded the Year of Shadow. All their merch was about Shadow. We had the Dark Beginnings animation be made. We had the Darkrai, his actual bike, go on tour. For the Sonic Symphony, it was all pretty much Shadow-themed songs for the most part. They were doing everything they could to get people to know Shadow the Hedgehog. This is Shadow the Hedgehog, so when he shows up in the movie, you're all for him. And hopefully we reestablish Shadow as a character from, you know, what he's been through for the past couple of years, where he just became Edgy the Hedgy. And it worked. Shadow has, you know, his popularity has gone right back up. People know who he is. He is, without a doubt, now one of the top Sonic characters. So, could they be doing the same thing for Mario? Are we going to try and have the brand synergy be all about Galaxy for the main point because of the movie and all this type of stuff? And because of the movie, because that's probably what they're more focused on. Well, I wouldn't say that because Nintendo's not like Sega. Nintendo's in a place where if this movie doesn't work out, they're not going to hurt at all. But will they release a Galaxy 3 because of this movie to coincide with everything, right? Because of brand synergy, this is now, we're in the Galaxy portion. Could be Nintendo, obviously, if they're making Galaxy 3, they must have planned this a while ago, and they probably told Illumination, hey, we're planning Galaxy 3, so to coincide, let's all, you know, work together, make the second movie about Galaxy, all that type of stuff. That could happen. I don't know. I'm going to be clear honest. If a Galaxy 3 does get announced because of all this, I wouldn't be shocked. I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense because of everything, right? Where you released the previous two, now on the new hardware, the movie's about Galaxy, right? Your promotion is all about Galaxy. We have new amiibos about Galaxy. That all makes total sense. If a Galaxy 3 doesn't get announced. If a Galaxy 3 doesn't get announced, right? And this is all just for the movie, that also makes sense for me, and I wouldn't be too shocked, you know? Because again, it's just like, oh yeah, well, because the movie's going to take elements from the Galaxy games, we want to make them more accessible for people, so when they go to the movies to see it, they're like, hey, it's the thing, you know? Yeah, I you know, and it's also like kind of what Sega did with Sonic, when they released Sonic Origins, so that way people could play the 16-bit era Sega games a lot more easily, so when they go to the movies to see the Sonic movies, like, oh, it's from the thing, you know? So I completely understand. So will we get a Galaxy 3? The answer is, I don't know. It's really up to Nintendo and what they decide to do. If we get one, of course I'm going to be ecstatic. Of course I'm going to be happy. And I'll be like, yeah, it makes sense because of the branding and everything you're doing. But if we don't get one, again, it also kind of makes sense because it's just now in service for the movie. So there we go. Let me know what you think. Do you think we are going to get a Super Mario Galaxy 3? Or do you think this is all just in service for the movie so that way people know more about Galaxy when they go and see the movie next year? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys all next time.